I feel as though Swiftpage Act used extortionary methods in order to extract $600 from me so that I could get my own data back. I've used ACT. It's gone through many iterations, and I've been using ACT for probably 20 years. And I've upgraded it periodically. And a couple of years ago, I guess I thought I should upgrade it, so I got their 2-year program. And at the end of 2 years, which was a couple of months ago, I said, I don't really need this. I'm not using it for the cloud. I don't use it in a cloud-based basis. I don't use it for marketing. It's just really standalone, my data for calendaring, and it's better than a book address system. It's basically a standalone database on my computer. I know it has other capabilities, but I never used it. So I thought, okay, I'll cancel it. They asked me why I wanted to cancel, and I carefully explained all the things I've just told you, why I wanted to cancel it. And they said, okay. So at the end of March, when it was time to have it canceled, suddenly I was charged. So I contacted them and said, hello, you've charged me inappropriately, and they reversed the charges rather quickly. And a month went by, and I went back to using it, normally. Suddenly, it wasn't working, and I was locked out. And I'm savvy enough to know if it was sometimes if the SQL server isn't running, I know how to turn that on. I was locked out. It would not allow me to access my own data. It has nothing to do with anyone else. It had nothing to do with going online. It's on my computer. So I contacted them, and they were kind of rude about it. And they said, well, you've got to pay money to get your data. And I said, well, why would I pay money to get my data that I've had for 20 years? I said, I need to speak to a supervisor. There is no supervisor. So I finally got a manager, and that took quite a while. This is about a 30-minute conversation overall. And the manager said, well, you've got to buy, either you have to renew it or you have to buy the software. And I said, buy the software? I've been using it for 20 years. So I had to pay $600. The minute I gave them my credit card, suddenly I could access my data. Like within a minute. It was extraordinary. And so I said, well, I felt it was extortion and completely wrong. And why did I have to pay anything to go back to using it the way I used it before 2 years ago? And they said, that's the way it is. That's what everyone, the quote was, that's what everyone is doing now. In the near future, you'll have to pay everyone. Like if I want to use Excel, I guess I have to pay $1,000 or something to be able to continue to use Excel. And that was it. That's kind of that's the end of it. I don't know. I did try to look at the FCC, which is the Federal Communications Commission. They're not the appropriate entity to regulate, and I don't know who that is. I have no idea who the regulators are for this sort of thing. I also don't know that within 10, 20, 50 pages of documentation, it said somewhere that the minute you cancel, you will then owe us $600 to get your data. I don't know if it said that anywhere. I certainly haven't read through all that. And I also don't know that if I contact them now and say, well, look, I don't want this, I don't want to own the software, I just want to spend $200 for the support, and then I could go and translate all my data somewhere else to some free service, and or get a programmer to do it, or someone who's savvier than I to do that, maybe, and then I'd only spend $200 instead of $600. I haven't pursued anything else. All I did is I said, where can I go? What entity can I utilize to see if I could get some assistance with this? And I saw your website, and I basically told my story on your website.